So y'all, this morning I was doing my morning reading. And when I say I'm doing my morning reading, I mean, I have scriptures that are written out on a tablet that I read every morning. Well, I'm going to say mostly every morning, just to remind myself of what God's word says about me. So after I do that, I then go to the Bible, and I usually read Proverbs. Because, I told you, my goal is to be the Proverbs 31 woman. Like, to be that virtuous woman that he describes in Proverbs 31. That is my life goal. Anyway, so this morning, I felt led to go read Luke 7. And the title was Jesus Heals. I'm like, I'm not sick. Why do I need to read Jesus Heal? But whatever, I'm obedient. I'm going to read it. So I went and read it. I'm not going to go through the scriptures. I challenge you to go read the scriptures for yourself. And this all came out the TPT. So I'm going to just read over my notes, right? It says that a captain, he had a sick servant. And the servant was sick to the point of death, meaning he was terminally ill. Homeboy had been sent home on hospice, right? But this captain loved him, and he wanted him well. So the captain heard that Jesus was in the area, so he sent out his respected elders to plead with Jesus. That word plead just stood out to me because the captain sent out his respected elders to plead with Jesus to come to his home to heal his servant, right? So the elders went, they spoke with Jesus, and Jesus went. They just pretty much told Jesus, hey, we got a captain, he's a good guy, he cares for his servants, and he has requested your presence to come and heal his servant. And Jesus just went. So, but as Jesus was on the way, that same captain that sent the respected elders in verse 3, in verse 6, y'all, he sent his friends. He sent his friends, keyword, to stop Jesus. Jesus was on his way, but he sent his friends to stop Jesus. He told his friends to tell Jesus, don't bother to come. I am not worthy. I am not good enough. So what stood out to me is two things. One, what changed between verse 3 and verse 6? At first you were worthy, you were good enough. You sent your respected elders to go to Jesus. But then in verse 6, you're going to send your homeboys? Like, yeah, man, go stop Jesus. Tell them, don't come down here. Don't come. I ain't worthy. I'm not good enough. Some things changed. And also the people around him changed. Because at first, he had respected elders around him that he could send out. Now he got his friends, he got his homeboys there, and he want to change, he want to change the fact that, oh, now I ain't worthy, now I ain't good enough. Your company matters. The people you have around you matter. Because from verse 3 to verse 6, something changed. And one thing that changed was the people he had around him, the people he had to send to go get Jesus. But this time, the first time he wanted to, hey, go tell Jesus, go plead with Jesus. Now he's saying, man, go stop Jesus, go stop him. Just tell him I ain't worthy, I ain't good enough. Just go tell him. Yeah, my kids in the background. I'm going to keep rolling though, right? Because I got to get this point across. So, from verse 3 to verse 6, he's like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Be mindful of the people you have around you. When you're strong in your faith, or you're strong in who you are before the Lord, 1 minute and then the next minute you're not, you have to ask yourself, what changed? Why did I feel worthy a few minutes ago to go to Jesus, but now all of a sudden I don't? That's a trick of the devil, to make you feel like you're not worthy, you're not good enough. You're always worthy, you're always good enough. Jesus would not have went to the cross if you weren't worthy. He wouldn't have did all that if you weren't enough. You were enough when he made you in his image and his righteousness. You was enough then. So no matter what you did from between verse 3 and verse 6, or who came around you, you're still enough. But check that company that you're keeping, okay? So anyway, it says, he felt worthy enough to send the respected elders. Then he sent those good old friends. His company changed. Who he had surrounded him changed. He was surrounded by respected elders. Then he was surrounded by some of his friends. But he may not have felt worthy, but he did still have faith. He didn't feel worthy, but yes, what he did have, he still had his faith. Because the captain said, Jesus, I'm not worthy. Jesus, I'm not good enough. But if you, Lord, would just speak the word of healing from right where you are, Jesus, I know that my servant will be healed. I know, Jesus, if you just speak the word, my servant will be healed. Then he went on to explain, he wanted them to tell Jesus, like, he know how authority works. He knows that, he was in a place of authority. When he tell his servants, do this or do that, guess what? They do it. So he was pretty much saying, and I'm in a position where I have leadership over me. When my leadership tell me to do stuff, I do it. So the man had a great understanding of authority and how when a person of authority speaks, whatever is under them has to obey. So he told Jesus, like, I understand who you are, and I understand the authority that you have, and I understand that you have the authority to speak against illness. I understand that you don't have to be in my presence, Jesus, to speak the word, and the word works. So he told Jesus, he's like, you can just speak the word from where you are. And Jesus spoke the word. Jesus said, your servant is healed. And Jesus said, I haven't seen such great faith. Listen, y'all. That man understood that though I'm not worthy, though I'm not good enough, I trust the authority that you have, Lord. And because I trust the authority, I know that when you speak to that body has to line up with what you say. So I challenge you today to speak to whatever in your body that is not lining up with the word of God, because God has given us the authority to speak to our bodies. Speak to it. It could be like, I don't feel sick today, but I may be feeling like a little sluggish, a little lazy. I can speak to that because I have the authority to do so. Y'all, Jesus has authority over that illness. And when Jesus spoke to that illness, that servant's body had to be healed because Jesus has authority over illness, and so do you. Oh, y'all. Have a good week. Have a good week.